All right, so we're going to be talking about square roots today. And I first wanted to go through three kind of vocab words that's going to help us with how we discuss the lesson today. So the first one is the radical symbol. So here is the radical symbol. You guys are familiar with this. You've been working with this for a couple of years now. So this is the radical symbol. Does anyone know what the radicand is? Any ideas about the radicand? No ideas? Radicand is the number or term that's inside the radical. So the radicand is what's inside or underneath the radical. That's the radicand. All right. For the index is the little number that's right here. And if you look really hard, you can see the number. What number is right there?
2.
It is a 2. Very good, Lysandra. Most students have not recognized that. Well done. Do you know why it's a 2, Lysandra? No. Here's why it's a 2. Let's see why it's a 2. All right, so if I have a 2 here, what you're telling the people reading this is that there is some number out there, whatever it is, that you raise it to the second power and it gives you 9. Now, because the square root is the most commonly used radical, we do not write the 2. So if you look, there's no 2 there. But if I don't write a number, what's there?
3.
A 2. A 2. Okay? So today, when you draw your radicals, you're not going to put a 2 in the index, but it is a 2. Everybody good on those 3 words? Yes. Question? Exactly. If you look really hard, you can see a 2. There is one there. But just like, think of it like this, actually. Do you ever write 1x? Do you ever write 1x? Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you just write x. And what is there if you look really hard? A 1. Same idea. It's understood. All right, does that make sense? Awesome. All right, let's go to estimating. Let's try the square root of 34. So for the square root of 34, the way you want to approach this, and I mentioned this a couple days ago, is to think about the perfect squares that are above and below 34. Does anyone know the perfect squares that are above or below 34? 25. Well done, Jonathan. 16 is, but it's not the next one that's below it. What about the one above it? Excellent. So we should know those, the square root of 36 and the square root of 25. So when I write down my answer, I know it should be 5 point something, because it's not all the way to 6. The 34 is only 2 units away from 36, but it's 9 units away from 25. So it's much closer to the 36, so I'm thinking 5.8. I would accept 5.7, 5.6, or 5.9. I will not accept 5.5. Does everyone see why? Because it's closer to the 36. Okay? Let's do the next one. Sorry? Somebody said what?
You said 5 is close to 36, but this is the answer supposed to be close to 36.
So 34 is closer to 36, so the answer should be closer to 6. So if you put 5.5, 5.5 is right in the middle. All right? Let's do the square root of 80. Which one is above and below those? 81 is above. Nice. That's 9. 72 is not a perfect square. 74 is not a perfect square. Well, if this is 9, no calculators, if this is 9 squared is 81, what is 8 squared? 64. There we go. All right, so you can always approach it that way. If you're having trouble with the perfect squares, think about what are the numbers, like 8. Okay, what's 8 squared? Try it that way. Okay? So the 80, yes, what's up? I was saying if you're having trouble coming up with the perfect squares, we've got this one. The square root of 81 is 9. I know this must be 8, so work that way. What's 8 squared? As opposed to trying to think of the perfect square. All right, both are fine. What, you notice the 80 is really close to 81. So what do you think I'm going to put for my approximation? 0.9, very good, 8.9, awesome. I would accept 8.8, but since it's really close to 81, I really think we should put 8.9. Question so far? One more. the opposite of the square root of 11. Now, the way I tell students to do this is to ignore the negative symbol. All right? So ignore it. Let's do the same process, ignoring it. What are my perfect squares that are around 11? So 9, not 12, 16, there you go. So that's going to be 4 and 3. And which one is it closer to? See how the 11 is closer to the 9? It's only 2 units from 9, but it's 5 units away from 16. So it's closer to 9, so that means the answer should be closer to the 3. So what do you guys want to put? 3.3? Sounds good. I probably would have put 3.2, but it's all good. That's fine. All right. Now, the problem started off with a negative sign in front, so when you do the answer, make sure you put your negative sign. Any questions on how to estimate? Any questions on how to estimate? Okay, so you're about to do these 6, but notice at the top right it says complete 4 out of 6. So you don't need to pick all 6. Find 4 that you want to do those at your spots. Questions? Ready? Go! I'll give you 5 minutes. Go.